In the year 2000, there was a collaboration between Microsoft and the Walt Disney Company to create the most user-friendly and advanced operating system that the world has ever before seen in history. It's called the Microsoft Windows Disney Operating System. Or what should I say? The Windows Disney OS. Or simply the Disney OS for short. It was originally designed to be an operating system that was focusing specifically on Disney-themed content. It was probably targeted for kids, or maybe adults. Whatever the case, it's an NT-based operating system. The main development of the team of software developers had been hard at work for so many months, creating, testing, and finalizing the operating system, hoping that everything should go well with its release. However, as the release date drew closer, strange glitches began to occur within the system. I mean, files would randomly move around on their own, not to mention that the screens would flicker or brighten and strange whispers would be heard from the speakers. Unfortunately, the team was unable to fix the bugs before the designated release date, despite their best efforts. Thus, the Disney OS was released in mid-2000 with the bugs remaining unpatched. Shortly after the release, users at the Disney OS began to report strange occurrences while using it. Files would randomly move around on their own, or disappear and then reappear in the most unexpected and unusual places. The computers themselves would randomly turn on or off by themselves, even with no input from the user, and even while they were sleeping at night. Strange whispers could be heard coming from the speakers. I mean, it was as if some malevolent force took over the Disney OS. Now, fast forward to today. Right now, I am and have been at work at Microsoft since. And somewhere during the late 2010s, I stumbled upon a computer with the Disney OS operating system installed on it. When I turned on the computer, the boot screen showed the Windows logo inside of the Mickey Mouse head shape. Not to mention that the startup sound was the same one that was used in Windows 2000 and Windows Millennium Edition. The user interface was also similar to the interface of Windows 2000 and other Windows software at the time. At first, while using the operating system though, everything seemed normal. But then, strange things began to happen. I mean, files would disappear and then reappear in the most unexpected places. The screens would flicker, cryptic error messages would often appear, menus would randomly open on their own, and strange whispers were heard coming from the speakers, even if the computer were turned off. And so, I decided to click on the Internet Explorer icon as it opened up the browser window. Everything was normal at first. I mean, I was just browsing through so many websites at first. Just reading articles and playing games. But then when I visited the Disney website, something strange showed up. The once cheerful description, the once cheerful look at the Disney website, instead contained an empty green background. The whole screen literally contained an empty green background. And in the middle of it was something disturbing. A figure resembling Mickey Mouse. Except it was all totally pitch black and had bright white eyes. And then the figure looked directly to me in the eyes. And then the figure told me,
"I'm coming for you."
when I heard this, shivers were being sent down my spine as I immediately closed the page down and went deeper into the operating system's files. I managed to access the Disney Movies folder that contained the many movies made by Disney and Pixar. I scrolled around and decided to watch one of them. It's called A Bug's Life. While the movie played, everything went as normal. But then something strange happened during the movie's climax. During the scene when Hopper grabbed Flick, the bird showed up. However, the bird's eyes were totally pitch black, and it kept staring at Hopper. Hopper then turned his head around to look at the bird, and then he froze in place as his eyes also turned to pitch black. The bird remained still for an uncomfortably long period of time, with both the bird and Hopper looking at each other in a staring contest and often blinking their eyes. Then suddenly the whole screen froze, and then an error message displayed before the whole video player crashed. Angry enough, I decided to watch another film, Wreck-It Ralph, from the movie files. Everything went normal this time, until about midway into the film, when again, something strange happened. During the scene when Ralph told the racists to leave Vanellope alone, the said sugarous racists turned their faces around and their eyes were all pitch black, totally. The scene stood still again, with the racists looking at Ralph standing still, and just like in the other movie, they were blinking their eyes and they weren't saying anything, and the whole scene lasted for an uncomfortably long period. Then the whole screen froze and the same error message displayed before the video player closed by itself. Well, it pretty much seems like the characters in the video files of the Disney movies folder became possessed by the Disney operating system. I mean, even a file called named Disney OS's Chambers appeared on screen. When I clicked on it in the notepad, it showed a cryptic message, which was encoded in a Visioneer cipher, and it read, "Did you really think you could?" After closing the file, I opened up the menu and tried to restart the operating system to restart the computer to see if the glitches would stop. They eventually did, but shortly after turning on, fortunately, a red screen at death appeared in my window to my disappointment. After that, the PC forcibly shut down itself. Later, Microsoft finally released patches to these strange glitches. I turned on the computer again and attempted to install the patches to the operating system's bugs, but the system itself repetitively kept sending out error messages containing cryptic messages. These kind of messages appear to be warning signs not to install the patches. I ignored the warnings and installed them anyways. And so the glitches stopped, and I could finally feel relieved again of using the Disney OS without those strange bugs. And so the nightmare of the Disney OS still persists to this day, and despite the continuous rumors, Disney and Microsoft were indeed very sorry about the glitches in the Disney operating system. They both promised to eventually release better versions of the Disney OS that would not have such glitches. But to this day, the legend of the first publicly released version of the Disney OS still continues to haunt some users, just waiting to appear in their worst nightmares soon.